And welcome back to the Regional Radio Sports Network and RRSN.com, the Penn Preview Playoff Edition here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Adam Demaree alongside me, Cory Yeoman, head coach of the Penn Kingsmen. And, Coach, you finished the regular season 9-0. You win that 33rd Northern Indiana Conference Championship. Congratulations. But let's talk Week 9, Mishawaka. You win 21-12 here at Freed Field, and I thought they made you work for every one of those 21 points.
Well, yeah, they're a heck of a football team, and we knew that going into the ball game. I mean, they'd only lost one game, and that was by a point against a very, very tough Crown Point team, and their defense had gotten better and better and better this year went on, and their offense, and no one slowed them down all year long. So we knew it was going to be a heck of a ball game.
You look at Camden Bones' play. I thought the front seven for Mishawaka did a pretty good job getting into him at times, maybe making him rush a couple of throws, but at the end of the day, he kept moving the ball, kept moving the chains with his legs, and a couple of key passes there. What were your thoughts on how he played in a high-pressure situation?
Well, I thought he handled it very well, which, at this point in the season, you don't think him as a rookie starter anymore. You know what I mean? He's been through a lot of battles, and that's exactly what I thought he would do. And, it was nice starting the ball game and the way we did, and able to get up by 2 scores right away. And I thought probably the biggest thing in that whole ball game was special teams play. We were able to flip the field at times. We were able to pin them back on our kickoff coverage to start the game. Had a nice punt return as well. Again, we played on our side of the field a lot, and a lot of it had to do with our special teams play. I'm very, very happy with how we started the season and where we were special teams and where we've got to it at the end of the season in Week 9.
Well, now you got to forget about the regular season because it's playoff time, win or go home from now on. You talk about the history of Penn football and the fact that in opening rounds, you're one of 2 teams in the state, you and Jimtown, 29-0 in the first round of the playoffs. Kind of touch on a little bit about what it is about this team and this program that makes it so successful and forgetting about the regular season so quickly and moving into the playoffs in high-pressure situations.
Well, you know what, I think there's probably multiple things. It's how we approach each game, and that's how we approach it in the regular season. We play one game at a time. We worry about one team at a time because when things are all said and done, you can only beat one team. That's the team you're playing. So don't worry about what's around the corner because you have no control over that. And learned a long time ago, don't worry about stuff you don't have control over. Just try to control things you can control and get the guys focused on that. And I think that's a big part of it as well. And and I think also how we handle the playoffs and what we do may be a little bit different than a lot of people. And how we run practice and everything else. But again, it boils down to each individual game and preparing for it that way.
You look at Portage second time around. You guys played them in Week 2 back over at the Warpath. That's where you'll be again this Friday night. 42-0, but when you're preparing for a team twice in 1 year, what is the approach? Is it different at all? Is one team maybe have an advantage than the other when you're playing a team for the second time, or what's the process like for you as a coaching staff?
Well, there's a big difference between Week 2 and Week 10, that's for sure, for starters. Where we were at as a football team, where they were at, how they've changed, how different teams morph into who they really are in the course of a season and going through, in their case, the Duneland Conference, in our case, in Northern Indiana Conference, things change as the season goes on. Starters change, special teams people change, and so it is different, and it's a different atmosphere. I mean, what took place in the regular season doesn't get you any points, it doesn't lose you any points, but it's a fresh slate. Everybody's starting with a fresh slate, and which makes it exciting.
You look at Nathan Cherry, their top rusher, and I know that was a big concern heading into Week 2. It's got to be a big concern as well heading into Week 10. He's done a great job of over 1,000 yards rushing, and now they've moved him back into the quarterback position. He'll be the starting quarterback on Friday. What challenges does he present to your defense as a quarterback?
Well, he's just an explosive player. I mean, he can beat you with his legs, and and that's a big offensive line they have up in front of him, and handed off some other really good running backs as well. He's a great athlete, and he can throw the ball as well too. So he's just a great athlete. When great athletes touch the ball every time, there's a chance for big plays, and we've got to try to limit them and try to keep the ball inside and in front of us and attack it and try to limit big plays against Portage.
Offensively, defensively, special teams, I know they've improved, as you said, as the weeks have gone on. What do you got to do to win on Friday, Coach?
Well, I think number one, you take a look at them defensively, and they've defended everybody very, very well. They've been in the ball game with almost everybody, been ahead in most of those ball games, so they've got a very, very stingy defense. And I just think special teams, I always have, and that's the way you're brought up around here with Coach Giesman. Special teams are huge, and if you walk up and down the trophy cases at Penn High School, look at the plaques and all that stuff. I'm guaranteeing all of them. We talk about special teams plays that made a difference in those championship runs, and it did the other night, and it has to continue to do that, because there's very, very few players in a game that will net gain or net loss as many yards as a special teams play will, and there's a lot of hidden yards, and they're not hidden to us. It's a big deal, and we've got to play well there and limit big plays from their return people, but also try to make some plays with our guys.
Best luck on Friday, Coach.
Thanks, Adam.
Cory Yeoman, head coach of the Penn Kingsmen, joining us here on the Week 10 Penn preview. The first round of the playoffs kicks off this Friday night, 7:30 at the Warpath on 91.1 The Globe, 95.3 Michiana's News Channel, and, of course, the award-winning Regional Radio Sports Network.